Hey, what's up? I'm Morgan and welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate that you are here. If you're new here, make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button down below. Make sure you guys are giving these videos a big thumbs up by liking these videos, because that lets me know that you guys are enjoying this content. Also, shout out to the new subscribers. I know we are still small and we're still growing, but you guys have no idea how much I appreciate you guys tuning in, commenting, and just really keeping up with this channel. So thank you. Today's video is all about how you can build the best online fashion brand, for your boutique, for your clothing line, whatever it is that you want to call it, however you recognize your brand. This is really important. I break these down in 4 simple steps, things that you can implement right away, because a lot of times as new brands emerge, new business owners pop up on social media every single day, they tend to just go all in and they tend to forget that there's a whole reality happening behind the scenes on how online brands are really thriving and becoming more and more successful. So let's get into these steps on how to build the best online fashion brand. So step number 1 is going to be talking about the expectations. And when I say expectations, I mean the value of your product versus the customer that's coming to experience your products online. When it comes to perceived value, it's all about how people see your brand. It's all about how they estimate the amount of what you're trying to sell to them. It has everything to do with what your customer expects from you and what you're delivering. If you are delivering something that's mediocre, but you're trying to sell it for a higher price point, your customer is going to be confused and they're not going to buy into it, because they're like, well, this looks like shit. And they're trying to sell it to me for like $500. Like, it just doesn't go hand in hand. Now, on the opposite end of that, I've seen people sell things that I personally don't like. I personally thought it looked a little cheap, but because they have a certain type of customer and a certain type of aesthetic about their brand, and they made those images look amazing, people are willing to spend $500 on crappy products. That's just the name of the game. But it goes back to the perceived value of what customers expect from you. When it comes to the expectations of your customer and your brand, you need to really focus on key things like product photos, the detailing of those products, the materials. Are you showcasing the materials properly? Are you giving the best brand descriptions in the description box of the products? Are you really focused on the actual product, or are you just trying to make the image look cute? Now, a lot of times it's cool to have a nice cute photo, but other times when you want to have that customer return over and over again, you have to create some sort of familiarity with them so that they come back to your brand time and time again. So it goes into the details, it goes into the cost, it goes into the packaging. Packaging is also a top priority for new brands. I know sometimes it comes with the finances where it's like it's too much to have great packaging and you're just starting off. I totally understand. I've been there, but there are ways that you can keep costs low and have a certain aesthetic go along with the packaging. You can buy poly mailers that are super cheap. I'm going to link the video where I talk about how I started my fashion brand with only $500. It goes into detail about what I use, what I bought, the purchases that I made, and keeping the cost low. So check out the video somewhere up here. It's also going to be in the playlist with in the description box with the playlist. So make sure you guys are hitting that description box and just looking at those videos as well. So now that we have talked about the value and the expectations of your customers, we're going to go into step number 2, which is the customer experience. Experience should be fun. It should be fulfilling for customers to come onto your website and see your products. If you do not have a website yet, and if you're just selling solely off of Instagram through like DM or however it is you're making these sales, then also that make it look like that is your website. Instagram can be a website for you to sell products. So you should make sure your products match everything that you are going to be selling to your customer, just as if you were running a full-on dedicated website. So jumping to the experience, there are key things that you really need to focus on right away, especially on your website. You need to focus on the sale of the product, the About Me page of your website. I've been on websites of new brands and they don't have an About Me, and I'm just like, well, I want to know who the designer is. So creating an About Me of your brand really creates a beautiful customer experience, because it allows the customers to get to know you a little bit more and go more in depth on how your brand was created, or what your brand is really about, or who the target customer is. It gives them that experience so that they feel like, oh, you know what, this brand was made for me. So don't forget about that About Me page. It's really important. Now, when I talk about the sale, I mean the sale of the product. When you are on a product page on a website, the best thing that you can do is have an option for an upsell. Meaning, when you go onto a website, you'll usually see like the the product, and then you'll see below similar products like this. I'll insert descriptions of what I'm talking about, because this really creates a beautiful customer experience, because that way you're always selling something. You never want the customer to get bored. You want their eyes all over the place, and you want them focused on your brand. You don't want them distracted. So create upsells. Another big part about the customer experience is new products and launches. New products and launches are two very, very different things. Okay, every time you have a new product, it doesn't mean that you're launching something. Okay, you need a launch is like collections. I'm launching a new collection. I'm launching a winter collection, a fall collection, a summer collection, spring collection. That's a launch. That's a big deal. Or you're launching an absolutely new item, like you're creating like new skincare or something. That's a launch. New products should be something that you are fulfilling on the back end almost every week. If you can't do it every day, do it every week. What you want on your website is new images in rotation, so that people, when they come to your website, even repeat customers, they don't want to see old products all the time for months on end. You don't want them to feel like they're shopping backstock. That's horrible. It creates this weird vibe. So make sure that you're constantly recycling photos. Make sure you're constantly updating your website with new products. If you are in a position where you're not financially in a position to constantly buy as a fashion buyer for your boutique, then make sure that you are recycling products. If the photos that you're using are old and outdated, take those down, reshoot them in a new environment, a new feel and look, and that can create a better experience because it'll look new and it'll look fresh. So repurpose those old things. Also, if you are a fashion designer, if you are doing the cut and sew process, make smaller collections in between your production time for your full collections. That way you'll be ensured that you always have something new and in rotation and something to look at on your website. Just create a smaller collections, little capsule type collections, so that way you are never going without on your website, and that way when people are coming to your website, especially repeat customers, they're seeing something new. They're not shopping the old stuff. Make sure that's a key part into the customer experience, is giving them a new experience almost every time they come to your website. A big part, the biggest part I would say about the experience is don't sell products on your homepage. Now, it sounds weird, but I'm gonna break this down really quick. I implemented this step alone last month on my website, and last month my sales increased. And that's because I did a little bit of research. On the websites that I tend to visit, there's no selling point on the homepage. They're not selling me anything. Again, I'm going to insert clips and things like that here so you guys know what I'm talking about. But on your homepage, it's more like a lookbook. It's more like a vibe. It's more like a feel, just introducing the customer to what exactly is going to be on the rest of the website if they decide to click on those pictures. But you rarely see big brand websites with images of their product and the prices on the product, because it's just like in your face, explosive, and that's almost a turn off for a lot of customers. So changing your homepage can really create more sales, and I am living proof of that. My sales increased last month just from implementing that alone. So make sure you guys are doing this step. If you don't do anything else, make sure your homepage feels like a vibe, okay? That'll keep people on your website. Now, going into step number 3, now that we have talked about the expectations and perceived value of your product, we've talked about the experience, let's go straight into step number 3, which is crowdsourcing. I put crowdsourcing a little bit lower on this list. It should have been number 1, but most people that visit this YouTube channel are new to the industry, or they're trying to figure out how to start their brand, and that's what I've noticed from just my audience alone. But crowdsourcing is really, really big, especially for established brands and new brands, both. So crowdsourcing is all about building your community. If you don't build your community up, you're not going to know who your customer is. I go into detail about that in this video right here, and I go into detail about that in a lot of videos down in the description box. Make sure you guys are checking that out to check out those videos. It's all about building up a list of customers so that you can retarget them and repurpose them and keep selling to those customers. Now, when people buy into your brand, it's saying that, you know what, I like this brand, but it's one thing to buy and it's another thing to not give you their information. What you want to do on your website is always collect emails. Always have an option to collect customer information, because if you the more customer information that you can collect, the more that you can really focus and target those customers time and time and time again. And what you want out of your brand is repetitive customers. They will love you. They will come back all the time. They will be your ride or die it's your go-to. So make sure you're collecting an email somehow. The biggest thing that I can say for collecting emails is to make sure that you always have a pop-up form on your website. It's the first thing that you see when you come onto almost any great brand's website. As soon as you click on there, it's a pop-up form that pops up that asks you for your email, but also that pop-up has an incentive to collecting that email. You want to make sure that your customer is getting something for giving you their information, because the email is like gold, okay? You don't just want to be giving it to everybody. And don't spam your customers once you get their email, because they will opt out of your email. You don't want to lose them, okay? So the incentive could be anything. You can offer them a discount for their first order for giving their email. You can offer them money off of their whole order when they come back to your website. Anything like that is an incentive. Contest or things like that. That's crowdsourcing. You want to build up enough energy around your brand to where people are actually giving you their information. You want to be able to collect credit card information on your website as well. And by doing that, all you have to do is create an option for people to create an account on your website. I did this a few months ago and I thought nobody was going to use it, and turns out people are actually creating accounts on my website, and by doing so, their information is saved on their end. I can't see their information, but their information is saved on their end. So when they come to the website, you just log in and you can just shop easily. It creates a better customer experience, a better shopping experience when you don't have to keep inputting your information over and over and over and over and over again. That is boring and it drives me crazy. So on the websites you love, you tend to just give them all of your information. Okay, so pop-up forms, creating customer accounts, collecting emails, creating wish lists, creating some sort of energy around it is all about crowdsourcing. Another big part about crowdsourcing is making sure that when customers are tagging your items online, when they're tagging you in their items, when they're creating captions based around products, make sure that you're repurposing that and using it on your social media platforms and on your blog for your website, because people want to see other people wearing your brand. They want to see all that, and it creates a really cool like aesthetic, because it's like, oh my God, my friend wore that, or oh my God, look at that girl. I can dress like that too, and they got it from this person's website. So you're going to create more and more traffic by repurposing all the things that your customer is bringing to you. It's really the customer doing all the work. You just have to put those little treasures out there for them to collect. You know what I mean? So we talked about the expectations, the experience, and crowdsourcing, and then we're going to go to the final step, which is step number 4, and that's all about your supply. I can't stress this enough, you guys. Supply is really important. You need to know exactly where your clothing is coming from if you are not making them yourself. You need to know the inventory, how low you are at all times. You need to know your stock. You need to know what's selling out. You need to know what needs to go out, what time it needs to go out, what season it needs to go out, in order for you to keep track of your clothing that you are putting out into the world and online for your brand. So make sure you guys, if you can, go to some trade shows. There's a lot of connections. You meet a lot of cool people there. You also find other retailers there that you can buy from. So trade shows are a really good place for online boutiques. Make sure you're talking to your friends and family. You never know the skills of people if you don't ask. So things that you can't do that somebody else can do, add them to your roster, add them to your business, so that way you can keep on creating, and you can keep on creating in a timely manner. Now, the next thing, as a fashion designer, I know there's a lot of people that say they're fashion designers and it's a big stigma about, I'm a fashion designer, but I don't do cut and sew because I don't know how. Whatever, okay? If you can sketch out a design and you can translate that design on paper, go find another fashion designer. If your friends know how to sew, give them that sketch and see if they can make that outfit. And you will actually save money by going through your friend as a manufacturer rather than an actual manufacturer, because your friend knows how to do all these things that the manufacturer knows how to do. So that's another part about crowdsourcing that goes into crowdsourcing, but this is more about the supply. Make sure that you can keep creating pieces in a timely manner. Do not ever run out of things to put on your website. That is a big fail, a big no-no. Do not do that. Also, when it comes to supply, make sure you are selling more exclusive pieces rather than pieces that you are buying. Now, if you're an online boutique and you are strictly doing the wholesale route, obviously you're going to have all pieces that you bought. that's a given. So this is not directed towards you exactly. This is more towards the people that are doing the cut and sew route and doing the wholesale route to keep product alive on their website. Make sure you're selling your exclusive pieces more than you are selling the pieces that you are buying, because you don't want the perceived value and the expectations of what you're buying to outdo the work that you're putting in to make your brand bigger and better. And you want people to recognize you for your aesthetic alone. So make sure that you are constantly going and going and going and going. That's just all what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So we've talked about everything from expectations to supply. I hope you guys like this video. I hope this helps you out tremendously. I've implemented every single step into my own brand, into my own website, and I've created more and more sales monthly. My prices and things like that are very reflective of my customers, and I try to keep that going. I try to keep everything that I'm talking about with you guys going on all the time with just me personally and my personal brand. So these are things that I know work. These are things that, like I said, I've used before myself. These are things that I do on a daily basis. So make sure you guys are implementing these things in your brand. Let me know what you are going to try. Let me know in the comment section below. Let me know if this helped you out in the long run. Always come back to my videos as a resource. I talk about a lot of things, and this month of November I'm going to be pushing out a lot of content. Just FYI. Make sure you guys like this video by giving it a thumbs up. Make sure you guys are hitting the subscribe button down below. Check out my description box. I have a whole playlist about the fashion business. So I'll see you guys on my next video. Peace.